Headings on up.
Okay, get yourself go to a strip mall or something like that and get a couple of units and start with that. How about that? Well, the thing is, it ain't going. The strip mall ain't gonna have this and that or whatever. We know this. We know it's not gonna have everything you need. But just start with that. On Market Street in Philadelphia in Center City, there's a Kitty City that used to be there a long time ago. A long time ago. They converted that to a charter school on Market Street. I didn't know it was until one day I was walking by there. I'm like, where are these children coming from? And they all had their uniforms on. So they were able to, someone figured out, hey, I could take this store that was a toy store, I'm going to convert it into a school, and it's a charter school. Well, it used to be, I don't know what it is now, but I think it still is. So start off with that. You don't have to start with a whole big old campus. Start off that, max that out, and then build up. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. You know, because like I said again, we want to see our people win. I want to see people win. I want to see our children get the education and the help that they need. I want to see that. You know what I'm saying? But don't get mad at black folks if folks ain't putting, ain't investing in it. You know what I mean? Or don't categorize us as, we just dumb and we don't do. No. Because you're literally backhanding the same people that you're pleading for their money. I got these gnats around. I got a bug thing today. I can't wait to use it. Anyway, let me just show you this, okay? Yeah, someone said that's right. Umar was wrong on that, but I still support him, and that's fine. Like I said again, I am not saying don't support him, don't listen to him. I'm not saying any of that. Now, he gets into that spiritual stuff about these Egyptian gods and goddesses and all that other stuff.
I can't go with you there, brother. I can't go with you on that. I'm sorry, I can't. And there's some other stuff too. But I had the ability as an adult. I can strip that away. Let me focus on what he's talking about as it relates to education and children, just the basics. Let me look at that. But this other stuff, I'm saying, it's typical of what you see a lot of our people, unfortunately, will do. You do this big. There was another example, sorry, that I wanted to share. And it's this. There was a black woman, this is years ago, in the town that I grew up in New Jersey. There was this huge, it must have been a department store or something. I don't know what it was. I know by the time we moved here to Jersey, it was abandoned. It was abandoned for years. But anyway, the black woman, from what I understood, came in and bought it. And man, she turned that thing out. She made it into she had amusement rides in there. She had like different vendors, and there's a lot of black folks that live in the area, so they was able to come in and sell their stuff, and she had food and all this stuff, and that thing was nice. It was on in there, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. When I heard a black woman did it, I was like, man, this is awesome. Man, that thing didn't last. That thing lasted probably, I don't even think that thing lasted a year, because again, the idea is good, but where did you just jump to that? Or did you start on a small level? Did you start small? Or did you just jump to that? And a lot of times you'll find that a lot of our people just jump to that instead of just starting small and developing, getting solid here on the foundation, and then going from there and then building up from there. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, let me show you this. This is another example, and then we'll move on. So this is another gentleman. I've spoken about him before and spoken to him. I don't hate him at all. So let nobody run away from here saying anything crazy, because that's not the case at all. I'm just simply looking at what he has right here on his page. And so what he's doing is, this is what we're talking about, just going along the lines of, starting off small. Okay. So what he's doing, I'm going to scroll down. All right, so he says the purpose of this fund, this mission building fund, is to provide the financial means to, make sure you see this in your own eyes. The purpose of this mission building fund is to provide the financial means to get myself and my family to Africa, so that together with other trusted Hebrew leaders, we can start to build self-sustainable communities for all of Yah's chosen people who are ready to prepare for another wilderness during the earth's time of tribulation. Okay, and he says, we are in connection with people who have tight relationships with the kings, chiefs in Ghana, and it goes on. And so, for this reason, we have access, and he's using a lot of quotes here. So, we're not working directly with these people who are the landowners, we're going through him. Let me see how much he's asking for. Wow, $100,000 for him and his family. So we're going to raise up $100,000 to get him and his family to Africa, to maybe put together something that where he might be able to buy some land, and we might be able, and people who want to go there might have the opportunity to move there and live on the land. But we first have to send him $100,000. We got to raise up $100,000. And I mention this along lines with Urmar, because this is also another individual that if you don't put money there, what happens is he'll say that we can go and put money towards Black Panther. He continues to use that example. I mean, that's on Betamax right now. I mean, nobody watches that movie, but it's like on VA. It's on 8-track now. But anyway, if we don't support what he's doing, then what happens is, that means that we're not for unity. We don't work together. Israel doesn't work together. Wait a minute. No, Israel does work together. Israel came together to help put the first movie together, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but this ongoing, like, we don't work together, that's not true. And I told y'all, and I've said this again, that I will, anytime I hear people say that, I'm going to correct them on that. When you say that black people don't work together, that's not true. Black people do work together.
Yeah.
We build things. We do. We have a long history of that. If people aren't seeing what you're doing, if the money is low, then chances are you got to take self-inspection.
Exactly.
A wise business person, for example, that's the first place they look. They look to themselves.
Right.
They don't look to the people. They look to themselves and say, wait a minute, what am
Exactly. That's what business people do. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
This is what he's putting out, and you send him, raise him this amount, and he's going to go and negotiate with the African chiefs for you, and you might be able to end up with some land or something, and who knows? But this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about here. We can't think this way. We just can't. I'm sorry. No. It hasn't worked in the past, and it goes back to what I was saying right here in my example here, and then we're done, and we're going to switch over to Bantu right here. We get caught up in these side alternate timelines where we're just always spinning. It's an alternate looping timeline. Okay, one day we're going to get land. Okay, we get it, but did we do the planning? Did we do the research? No, we didn't do that. Oh, well, we got to do this. No, it's this or that or whatever. Oh, white supremacy. Yeah, white supremacy, this, that, whatever. They don't love us. They don't like us. They ain't working with us. All this stuff. And you get caught up in all this stuff. In the meantime, that $100,000 is going to go into making sure that teaching our people how to harvest food and medicine from their own backyards, so that all of our people here, where we are right now, for many of us here in America, South America, Canada, we can have all the medicine that we could ever dreamed of, and all the food that we could ever dream of.
Thank you.
And we're taken care of. Instead of investing in a big hospital, how about we invest in ourselves so that we can be able to help ourselves, so that when the Most High comes along and says, hey, listen, I'm going to get you guys are the church, or not the church. Hell, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Instead of investing, you are Israel. You are Israel. You're the nation. So if we're not operating like a nation, then we can never be one. As simple as that. You think that he's just going to drop you in some land and we just going to run free fall? This is my corner. Get off my corner. No. If we don't know how to operate like a nation right now, in our scattering, it ain't going to just come together like that once he puts us in the land, whatever that may be.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way.
It happened in the Bible.
Do believe that it just automatically happens that way. No, we got to start operating like that now.
Mm.
There are many people in Israel who have land already. Let's get them together. Let's get them talking, and let's talk about how we can best use it, if they're open to it, to the benefit of all of our people. Someone over here that own land, they may say, hey, listen, I'm going to grow these crops for my people over here. Over here, I got some land where I'm going to build some shelter, so if people need help, you need a place to stay, I got some shelter here. Someone over here may say, hey, I'm going to grow some more crops down here for the people who want those crops. And then so this is how we operate. This is how we're supposed to operate. You understand what I'm saying? It's just as simple as that. With all this, okay, well, there's someone else over in Africa saying, send us some money because we're going to help you buy some land and all this stuff. I mean, no. We got to get off of those alternate timelines and let's stay on point what the Most High has called us to do here. And in order to do that, let's focus on square one. Don't despise the small beginnings, okay?
Right.
Don't despise them.
That's true.
Focus on these things, and
exactly.
we want to see the Most High begin to show us just how much has been in our faces all this time. We just been blind to it, So never mind this bullcrap where people say black folks don't work together. The devil is a liar. We do build things.
Right.
We do a lot of great things. We support
like-minded
one another.
people.
Absolutely.
Right.
We do that. So here we go. So okay, family. So what we're gonna do now? I am going to transition over to Bantu. Okay, I know it's.
The guy from Ishikar channel was right. You guys started out small, and I caught at the end because my camera wasn't working too well. About particularly in the black community, people need to work together as far as building up things among each other, just like any other community people that do. And what he was making, the good point that no matter what, no matter how big a project is, whatever group of people you that done, they always start out small. You don't start out tremendous. And basically, and when he said, he wasn't putting down this guy named Urmar Johnson, which I've done about 4 or 5 videos on, but he was making a good assessment of what Urmar's doing. He was talking about how he went to the Breakfast Club and saying that he was making some good points about what is the struggle with black people, and it was some truth. But the thing about what hurts Urmar Johnson is that he'll go on his person. Someone else will pull up a video, and he on his time making something personal and saying that you ain't crapping. You making these, putting down black people, the same black people, but turn around about want them to help. And that's why I say, and I keep saying this, his own mouth is his own destruction. You have to think. You can't be so. Just simply because someone have a disagreement with you, whether it's individuals or a group, you can't so-called your way of chastise them because they ain't giving you money when you don't have something properly structured. It's like if I would ask for money or something like that. If I go to my little audience and my little thing and I say, hey, I'm building up something for the children, I gotta show people receipts. Then here's the wise thing. Whoever's in my audience saying like this guy is legit, and I'm showing you receipts, and I'm showing you where the money is going, and I have something legit. Then other people, and you give the people, kind of show them the blueprint, and you show them how much you spend. If you gotta show bank receipts, whatever, people are like, well, okay, and they see that you start out small. When you see that you start out small, then that might, whoever in the social media sector will say, well, this guy he's trying to put effort, so maybe we should, because it sounds like a good idea. I'm trying to build up an institution for children, because obviously there's a sector of people who are in the African American community that feel like they don't feel like their kids is not getting just deserved as far as a proper education, and they feel intimidated in school because of certain items and issues and personnel. So let's build on our own. He made good talking points. You have to start out small, and you have to be realistic that we still in a time of COVID. People ain't trying to get you trying to get these 3 or 4 buildings in Delaware, which is you got to get them properly installated. Like he was saying, you got to get it properly maintenance. You got to keep insurance. Then you got to make sure that you have insurance on the workers who's working on the building, because if something happened, they can fall. If the insurance don't cover them, they can get sued. And one YouTuber make a good argument about that because he works in the insurance industry. Urmar Johnson don't think like that. He just say, well, they don't want to help me because they ain't on board. He's using his guilt conscience about, well, black people don't want to help each other. Yes, black people do want to help him, but black people don't want to be like any other people. Don't want to be bull crap and guilt shaming or something, and you not showing no receipts. I mean, the man, yeah, he might know some things in his craft about mental child health. And like, wow, and one minute he sounded excellent, make an excellent point about behavior and certain things in history, and he's on point. The problem is that other personality, that other side we see of Urmar Johnson. That's what caused his funds to roll. That's why people are like, man, this guy is all over the place. And then some people, at some point, they want proper communication. When he gets on air and say, well, only a certain amount of people can have access to the records that I'm selling for. But you're asking for people, which that's crazy. Because no matter what, it's the public. You're coming to the public, and YouTube and Facebook and whatever. It's the public. You can't unrealistically ask for money out of the public and say, well, I need $2 million to build this building over there. and then get mad when you get maybe the amount that you get, because people are like, okay, we gave you, like, believe it or not, ladies and people gave him for, he's been at this since 2010, and there were people pull up receipts on it. He's been at this for over 10 years trying to collect money, and so he finally get the money. He went, like he was showing the video, he went to his one college down in Virginia somewhere. It was a state college. He's trying to start something grandiose, and then he get mad because some other buyers outbid him because they used it for their own. He said that the Chinese bought the building, that big college down there. But the point he was saying that makes perfect sense. You started out small. You start with homeschool, and you start with maybe get you like he said, maybe you had to start with a strip mall, with a building. That almost he could have bought a strip mall and build up from there. You don't go to something grandiose, throw big old buildings with possibly mold and asbestos in it, and is not founded, and the foundation to the roof has all kind of problems. Then it needs, serious wiring work, plumbing work, which could be costing to hundreds and thousands of dollars. Then on top of that, you got to consider the taxes and insurance on it. And the people who was his public record has pulled up his public record when he bought the building. He's not paying no taxes on it, so the tax bill is going up and up and up and up and up. There's been code enforcement out to make sure that he keeps the property. If he has to make sure that the land, because if you don't keep that land cleared out, that code enforcement can get on you about that in that city. But he wants to do all these things. But what he was making a good accent, why don't you start small? But like I was saying in a couple of my videos that I showed about his past, he got all arrogant and say, "Nah, you can't tell me. I'm Big Papa. We want to build a nation. We ain't building no school." It's like he's saying something like that to another podcaster, well-known podcaster, because the podcaster, he got a wife whose father opened up a school. He's trying. I would love to tell you to give you the red tape and get some game and get it going. Urmar Johnson was so arrogant. We build a nation, but I don't need something like that. We're trying to build a thing with these 3 buildings. Then he's not showing receipts, and then people made a whole sector. There've been like 10 to 12 people pointing this stuff out. Then they show, he's constantly trying to make himself bigger than life on social media and all these podcasts. And when he goes to stuff like that, first he sounds very intelligent when it comes to breaking down about what's going on with the schools, that when he was in school, what's going on with the children, and he makes some good talking points. He might be correct on a little bit of history, but it's that other side of him that sounds like he's crazy and go off on his rant, and he'll use something which is totally off topic. Use a talking point about the shootings, what happened with the young woman down there, and then he goes on this rant and raving, and we do this, but you black people don't want to do nothing. But the time you so-called criticizing him and saying what black people ain't doing, you chastise and saying you call them trifling, but go back to the same black people to a certain and expect black people to support you after you call them trifling because they don't give you what you want. Then he wants to put in his guilt trips. Well, black people spend all this money on Gucci and this and that. What is more important is your children's education. His attitude and his personality show. Then he comes online and tells people, yeah, when I open up this school, you're gonna be paying for it, and the children gonna stay. And there was a couple of YouTubers pointing this out. The children, they're gonna stay with me. They ain't coming back home with no blonde hair, blue eye, blue-eyed contacts. No, we praying African thicknesses. Fake eyelash. Did he go into a colorism thing? At one point, he's insulting black people who are racially mixed. He's insulting albinos who are black. I mean, he get into an argument with somebody and call him a white albino. I mean, it's the stuff that he says, and he's projecting this all online. He's projecting this. So hundreds and thousands of people, when they see his name, whether they like or they don't like him, he's shooting himself in the foot. And he said, well, they got that there with the brother, give the brother a chance, man. He's trying to do something for his people. Yeah, it's not that so, but it's the ideal is good, like the guy on this channel said, but his personality. I mean, it's like he's all over the place. He's trying to raise money. Has some kind of marketing thing where to be a membership you gotta pay $1 minute is $50 to $100. Then he got the book, and the people criticize the book because they say the information with the way he wrote it was like elementary style. The color people that got the book from his line, they look for it, and they said it was they nitpicked this book, and when they see that it wasn't really any solution to what he was writing. There was no solution. There was nothing really that the people who purchased his book. But and just like he was saying about the other man, about, hey, we need to establish something, as black people go to another country. I definitely understand that. But again, like you said, you have to think realistically. Let's raise a fund for $100,000 and go over land. You don't know. You have to make sure that the people that get with this legit, and they ain't running no scams, because there's been people over there. In some part, you gotta make sure that you have a legitimate people that you purchase land in any country, such like on the continent of Africa or any place. Make sure that the people you're dealing with is legit, that they don't run some con game on you. You get over that the land, you find out the land is not yours, or some kind of false things in the paperwork, and you be in court with the battle. So you have to be wise and do your research and your homework on the people you're dealing with. And right now, that's the biggest thing for African Americans. Come on over, which is fine. But and I know some black people. I know with the racism and things like that, I understand. But even when you go to another place, make sure that the people you're dealing with on the continent of Africa is legit. If you go to Brazil, make sure they're legit. If you go to the Caribbean, make sure they're legit. Don't just get so emotional in some talking points that makes your transition. Do some research and find out. Too many people get conned just like any other thing that you do. So this is what he was saying. But with any project, and you have to start out small. You don't start out with a grand. It's like me, if I wanted to open up some apartments for the poor people. I don't, there's a process I have to go through. You have to go through, like you see, you have to start out small. Start with small buildings first. You can't go out there and buy a whole damn mall, and then there's so much paperwork, so much insurance, so much taxes, and all these other regulations and water regulations and all kind of these different regulations. You have to think realistically and how the way, if you go, let's say if I was a person that would have done something like that, I would have to do the whole thing, so when I present it to people, they know, like, this guy know what he talk about. Because there's going to be somebody online going to know if you're lying or not. They're going to know you're full of crap. They're going to know you're just talking, because they're going to, and then if you make some mistakes, somebody can, and hopefully help you out, say, okay, you've done this paperwork, but you got to do this paperwork. You got to have this, so you can be legal, or you can be licensed, or because if not, you can be fined for this or fined for that. You need to know anything. And I learned that when I just heard a video with a lawyer on another channel say whenever you dealing with contract, you have to get everything right in a contract. She said even if it's on a notebook pad. And so what it is that, when it came to Urmar Johnson, he's all hyped up and everything, and he's talking about the ancestors and all this stuff, and trying to use these old talking points and use their history. People is not so interested in history, and some people don't. And after a while, it gets old. It's like, fine, that's what they done. That's what the Harriet Tubmans and Marcus Garvey them done. But it's not. It's a dishonor when you use their name to kind of manipulate and get people of a plan that you don't really follow through. But you use it. You emotionally, with kind of like witchcraft and manipulating people. Like, we got to come together for the ancestors, and like he's saying, going through all that spiritual stuff. That's another thing that will be a conflict. There's some people in the black sector, in the black community, you can't mix spiritual systems together. You cannot. You can't mix the most high spiritual system with other pagan rituals and goddess and goddesses. That's unrealistic. You can't do that. It's not going to work. I can't pray to an almighty God and be on board, and then at the same time I'm going to go through my African ancestry and pagan gods, trying to see if they can work on the end. So that's really telling me the Most High God that that's all right. I'm going to call for assistance because you ain't answering enough times. So I'm going to try to so-called pray to another God and hope that something that is supernatural gets something going for our people. That's unrealistic. That is unrealistic, and that's not going to happen. And the Most High God is not going to work with your ancestry gods. Okay, He's the God alone. It's either Him or Him. Obviously Umar and other people like that, when they talk like that, they must don't know the only God that said, I'm the only one in the universe. I'm the only one. I don't share my glory with no, but I don't share my glory. My other words, He's saying my miracles, my signs, my wonders. Either you believe me or you don't. That's why He told the children of Israel, because the children of Israel was trying to be indoctrinated and said, we're going to use the Most High. We're going to build, but we're going to, okay, Moses, we'll go along with your God, but at the same time, that's why they built the calf out there in the middle of the wilderness. That's why the Most High God, and they was down there and they were worshiping and doing all those sexual things and all these things. The Most High, who brought them out of bondage, see that that they're paying homage to something and giving it credit to something that He naturally did, and he put in the commandments. He put, you don't worship no other God before me. They turned back around and didn't listen. And you know the story, 40 days and 40 nights, they were mumping and they were groaning. And every time when Moses goes to the top of the mountain, so that the one time he goes to the top of the mountain, they have the party down there. They're kicking it. They want to worship and do the ritual things that they learned in Egypt. And here is the God Almighty who took them out of bondage for 450 years. It was like a slap in His face. If you go and ask something, make sure, what I'm saying is, make sure you pray to the right one. But if you asking, come on, brothers, sisters, we can't agree, bro. And he's right. I'm worshiping, praising the Most High God. You want to bring in some African or some spiritualistic God. It's not going to work. And therefore, that's why, the Most High let Israel, because when they was being disobedient, they were picking up their own foreign gods, saying, since you've done this, I'm going to put you up under the other nations' feet. They're going to oppress you. And He tore their tail up for 40 days and 40 nights. This is the truth. But if they would have worshiped him and connect with him, Israel wouldn't have to go through that. And I'm saying to black people, you can't be, it's kind of say you love the Most High God and worship the ancestors and the Egyptology and all these other foreign gods. Either you stand with God or you don't. And it's when it comes to the spiritual system. And see, Umar wants to think he can ride both gods. You can't play the Most High God. You ain't gonna manipulate the Most High God like you can manipulate people and put that. You can't put that on the God. Does he deal with a personnel? He had to deal with a personnel like Satan when he had to deal with them in heaven. You ain't big. You ain't bad. You ain't got enough talk and enough game. God knows the game. The Most High God knows the game through His Son Jesus Christ. Because Satan had the same doggone thing. I should be God. I should get worship. I'm not going to listen to some human. So I'm going to turn back around and put these other guys, and when these humans praying and worshiping, these praising the other God, it's going to take the glory away from the Most High God. And that's what it comes down to. And that's why people are having the conflict, because it's the Most High God sent the correct one to come through the actual door, the one that had the keys of life and death. And you got these other people saying, no, it was no such thing as a Jesus. No, it was no such thing as a Son. No, let's worship. Don't use that name. Let's go to this name. But tell me, when it comes to a miracle, who do you call on? When it comes to healing, who do you call on? If you was near death, who you gonna call on? You gonna call on your foreign God? You gonna call on your ancestry gods who's gonna raise you up from the dead? I don't think so. You'd be a fool if you do that. And you have one of the most egregious diseases like COVID-19 that can take you out. You think I'm gonna call on a foreign ancestry god? Are you serious? But people who pray, they say we got to call on the ancestors. The ancestors can't take COVID-19 away from you. They can't heal you from cancer. They can't stop someone from killing you or from accidents. They can't do nothing but sit back and watch. That's what they do. But we call them on the one, with the Almighty One who sent His one in the land. Now towards His kingdom, His angels come into play. And the angels of God don't answer. Go and get this. And I hope someone listen to this. The angels of God go through the system, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They don't go by no other system. They don't listen to no other system. And the system that they go by, you know what the angels of God? Because there's two. So I hope you know this. Not the aliens, which you've been taught with the ones in the spaceships. Not the ones the statues that were formed after the angels. Not them one. I'm talking about the Gabriel, the Michael, the Uriah, the Raphael. You know what? Them the ones that didn't turn against God in the kingdom. They go by this. When you put the word up and call through the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus, activate the heavenly angels from the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. That's His kingdom. They're not going to fight for no other God. And they ain't going to fight for no Babylonian gods. They're not going to fight for no Grecian gods, and they're not going to answer on no African gods. They're not going to move the things in the supernatural over your foreign gods, over your so-called ancestors. Them angels ain't going to move on that. Even the angel that's priced over your life ain't going to move it. If the Most High have assigned to your life for the rest to the day you die, it's up under Him. That's the truth. That's the facts. So that's why black people, and that's why until we come, the rest of us come to the Most High, but long as you go out there and pray and listen to the spiritual system, You pray to the other spiritual systems, you will be under the oppressed. You will continue to be oppressed, like the children of Israel. The Romans will have you, like at that time, the Grecians will have you, the other nations, and the Sumerians. Remember, all this is in the Bible. Ask one of them Hebrew Israelites point that out. On the corner, they'll point that out on you. The brothers who call themselves Hebrews, they'll point that out. But you can't go to the Egyptian gods. You can't go to the Gnosticism gods. You can't go and expect us to come together. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because Satan, you can't ride. God can't ride with Satan. You can't ask one power to do another power. And that's what, when black people do that, that's what they're doing. That's what they're telling the Most High God. That, we want to be out of the system, but we want to ask you. But at the same time, I'm making a video and I'm asking, come on, brothers and sisters, let's go pray to the pagan gods, to which our African ancestors' gods, and try to tie them with that. And ask God, and then ask the Almighty God, who bring you out of the healing, who bring you out of the tough situations, to bless that. You can't use the Most High God. You can't use the one that brought you into creation. And somehow you got it in your own mind, just like the other people or the other nations worship their gods. Well, maybe if I could take a little bit out of their spiritual system and take a little bit out of their spiritual system, you can't put wine in the wine and expect it to be blessed and it tastes so good. So that's why, as a people, until some of us going to be up under, will be getting persecuted, because the sins that we in and the gods that the so-called stubborn way, just like the children back then. That's why I believe we are. I believe they are the ancestors that's in the Bible, because they was just as stubborn as how some of us black folks is. Just think about it. They were oppressed. God set them free. They acted a fool. As soon as they got looked out of Egypt, and during their trip out of Egypt, they turned on one another, got tribal. They was fighting and quarreling. That's something that we do. That's something what we do in the land right now, is quarreling and fighting over things. You can't tell me that. The stories is just amazing. They were fighting in parallels. No, it's my tribe, Negro. It's my tribe, Negro. No, y'all ain't gonna have this. No. Next thing you know, they didn't have guns and stuff. They start pulling out swords and fisting swords and stones, and fighting spears. Here they left Egypt. They were having quarrels, and the Bible recorded they were having quarrels out there in the desert. Even after they came up out of the 450-year bondage out of Egypt. That was fact. And people now they're trying to dispute that. But that was fact. That's why this whole thing got started. That's why there was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But the reason why I'm using that story and to tie it all up with this thing is to black people. You can't count on the other gods if you want to be set free from your taskmasters. Basically, that's what I'm saying. That's why the Most High, and a lot of people, maybe some of you don't like to call it religion or call it whatever, or spiritual. It's being supernatural, super spiritual. It's not about that. It's a fact. And he told them, this is the commandment. This was the Almighty God told them. That put this in the book. He said, you got the commandments. And you know what the commandments was in Deuteronomy. You will be blessed if you do this. You'll be cursed if you do this. The commandments, the statutes and commandments. If you don't follow this, it ain't gonna work. When you trying to follow this and 3 or 4 other systems and say, basically you telling the Most High God, I will go play to my ancestor, my African ancestry. Thanks though, but I'm gonna go over here. And can you bless whatever I'm praying to make it connect with the ancestry over here? That's basically what you asking the Most High to do. Wait a minute. Didn't he give you a system to come through? Didn't he give the black people? He gave you a system. He said, come to my son, and call on my son who I sent the word into the earth. He will set you free. He will all things have a kingdom order, and at the same time, his peace. Then the brothers and sisters who in this scheme who follow that commandment will survive the tribulation. The ones who don't, there's going to be ones who don't that look like you, wants to rebel against you because they say, no, man, maybe we can all tie together. No. The demons ain't working with God's angels. That's basically almost the same analogy. So you have God's angels over here, you have the demons over here. The purpose of the demons is to control you and manipulate you. Oh, they'll do stuff for you, but it's going to cause you to go against the other kingdom. This is a fact. And the angels of God can't move because you didn't count on the fallen spirits, the wicked spirits, and some of you have the gift, the ability to see this in the spirit. They said, let's count on these spirits to help. No. And maybe we can, and they asked the Most High to move his angels. No, you can't have it both ways, bro. No, that's not the way it goes. That's not the way it goes, sis. It must be a spiritual system. And for our people to come together, we got to come up under a spiritual system. There's a certain rule and there's a certain regulation. And I pray someone would share this video with somebody. You want to come out of this oppression, this Roman style oppression, like in the days of the ancient people, you're going to have to cry out to God. And that's what because the children of Israel went through the same thing. They were deaf. They killed their children. It was unbearable. You know, anybody know about Jerusalem 70 AD? How they surrounded them and they couldn't come out, and they cut off their food line, they cut off the water resource to the point that the children of Israel ate their own children. Some even committed suicide, jumped off the temple. And what does and it was a Roman government. So what you gonna do with the Roman government try to do that now? If you don't have a source of resources. Why I'm saying this? Because if we the people, it's the people that has put us up at the bottom of these other nations, these other nationalities, what they can strategically put around and give resources to keep you in bondage. You better learn to connect with the right resource when it comes to your spiritual system. And nothing as a people we need to do is we need to work and love together because we are all that we got. You only have a few allies, but not too many people are allied because you know this system in America. You know that this is a totalitarian system. All the other nationalities saying as long as we get the resource, we don't care. We don't care about them. As long we get the voting power. As long as we get the resource, the economic power. As long as we get that we can get the education system to get it set up. Just with every racial ethnic racial group the ones coming to this country, this is what they want. And they give them freebies. They give them thousands and millions of dollars. This is a reality. This is so true. This is what they come over the border for. This is what Joe Biden and the administration are doing. This is why this is going on. But I say to the people that look like me, until you come to the understanding, don't expect the Almighty God. Don't use Him like that. If you don't come with them, stand. They come through, and it's the only ways that come through who we call His Son, Yeshua Mashiach, to the better known to the world as Jesus Christ. If you don't, He's not going to come. He's not going to worship. You worshiping up under another system. And guess what? The angels are the witnesses. So is the Holy Spirit. And they all exist. So that's just a warning. So that's why, brother, can we come together? Now that we got a couple, we can come together and then go to have a thing common because of our nation or ethnic background. But hey, we got a separate spiritual system. That's another whole different ball game. Because, and like I said, you look at history. The children he freed the children, but there was a certain amount of children that accepted God. But among those over 5 million people that left Egypt, they were still holding on to the Egyptian gods. The Egyptian ways. They want to do the pagan practices, child sacrificing, things like that. Don't do seance. Do not consult with the dead. Do not consult with the spirits. And that's just when God puts something for when you go to church or with assembly or whatever, He talk about, I want you, what I told them then, I'm telling you now, because you are the generation now. Don't consult with no spirits. Don't pray to no spiritual system. Come to me. See, that's another thing people got to understand. The book stands for now. The Bible is a now book. It's not just history. It's a now. You must operate in it now. He wants us to go by what He put in here now and put it into practice now. But I can't ride with something and say, I'm going and think that I'm going to outslick the Most High when He's 3 days in the month and light years ahead of me, meaning that I'm going to turn and go to another spiritual system. You just want me, and I don't care how intelligent you are, I don't care how articulate you are, you can't fool something and get a hold of something that is out of eternity and out of time. That's in eternity. This is what these intellectual people do. You can study, but you don't have no time of what eternity really is. You can't expect an Almighty God to ride with you and let you go ride with another system. He sure didn't let them back then work. He darn sure ain't gonna let you do it. He's not gonna answer your prayers. He's not gonna, and not anything in His kingdom won't move. That's a fact. And you pray into another system, another system of God that's outside of God's realm. So I mention that is because it goes back to we as black people. See, even though we have the same ethnic and skin color and everything, and we go through the same amount of abuse, the same issues and everything, but when it comes to our spiritual sources, this is where it conflicts with each other. And saying, no, and we go by that kind of present, like, no, we all can pray to this. You can call it any kind of God you want. No. Well, you can call Him Hallelujah, and I can call Him Hashalahullah. No. He told you what system to go through. Here's a certain system to get the things moving on your behalf, your family, and your prayers and everything. And I can't take a foreign prayer from, let's say, the Hindu prayer or Islamic prayer or a Gnostic prayer and put it before God and say, God bless this. You crazy? This I'm talking from one aspect. So only for us as a people to survive, like any other people on the planet, you must go to a source. Otherwise, you're going to be a people that's going to be continuing. We're going to be at strife all the way to the end till Jesus come back. Some of us will make it. Some of us will be still up, and then the ones who don't acknowledge the brothers and sisters up under the skin, who don't acknowledge Jesus Christ, He's going to lead them in bondage with the other, and they're going to perish with the other nations. Because the spiritual systems, and the people that told you the truth with the Bible, But you say, man, I don't believe in that spiritual stuff. I don't believe in that system. No, I'm gonna make up my own thing. I'm gonna be my own God. I'm gonna worship my own. I'm gonna call myself a God, and I'm gonna do and call on some foreign source. And they expect. Okay, you're a God, then heal yourself. Then you such a God. Can you heal yourself? Can you step into another dimension? You ain't a God. You ain't a God. You can't step into another, and you can't heal. You can't raise yourself from the dead. You ain't a God. You don't have. You have to go up to the one who has the keys of life and death. Unless you want to do it Satan's way, you can bring you back as a zombie. Other than that, you ain't a God. Sorry to tell you this. And God give you a system. Come to my system, the Most High, Yahweh. Said, come to my system. The one that made the universe, the one that spoke everything to existence. And he said, the one that said, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I am that I am. That's the one that says that. He says that there is no other God in the universe, past, present, in the future. He said, that's what he said. Man asked him, there ain't no Grecian gods. There ain't no Egyptian gods. There ain't no gods. He's I'm God alone. What you was playing to with some false gods. But since whatever the symbolism that you worship, pray, in which what they did, he said, I have to counteract and show you the type of God that I am to come against those spiritual systems, the gods that you pray for. Because when you understand the God you pray for, that's a whole different system. And therefore the plagues and the judgments he had to send it against whatever you pray for. That's what Egypt had to find. Egypt had to find out. That's why Egypt got eliminated. And the only thing left there is the statues. And they digging 20 miles up under the ground in pyramids. They never came back. One came back from death. One defeated hell in the grave. One can tell the death angel to stand down. Your Grecian gods, your ancestors don't have the power. I don't care what they tell you, they don't have the power. You can't, a demon won't even respect you if you don't call the right name. Demons don't care what kind of ancestor you call. Oh, this my ancestor, you get away from me. They just laugh at you. Boy, don't you know that we can pose as your ancestors that you praying to? That's what the demons would say to you. Some that come out of the satanic kingdom. Don't you know that? Don't you know that they can snatch up a human body? Don't you know that? But some of these people who are so spiritual don't understand that. You better watch who you pray to. Ask people that have been in the New Age and stuff like that. They know I'm not lying. They know I'm not lying. But I didn't mean to go this direction, but the reason why I went this direction, because you have someone like that individual like Urmar that wants to pray to the ancestors and call Makadu and Mugadu and light incense over the graves of or go to visit people that have been dead over 200 years or 300 years and hope that they would move something. They're resting. And the guy that they will in heaven, they see what kind of foolery you think they're going to be behind, some foolishness. If they with the Father in heaven, in which Urmar is doing is playing to fallen spirits. That's why it sounds like, and I think they mess up with his mind. To be personally honest with you, they torment him, and he go into a so-called go over to the land and learn some spiritual systems. You have no idea what you manifested and get around you. And whenever you pull from another dimension, you ask anybody that have dealt with that stuff. You pull something in the atmosphere, it changes your whole atmosphere. Somebody end up having unfortunate accidents, nightmares, all kind of strange stuff, because you tapped into something, and you lighting candles over graves and things, seances. You're gonna get something with it, and when people don't understand, you get what you ask, and you get what you summon. You better watch what you summon. You better watch who you chant. You better watch who you pray to, because that stuff is real, and it can manifest when you're sleeping at night. It can come in your dreams. Watch what you're doing. And these are to the people that's so-called praying to the ancestors, because that's what you're calling up. Fallen spirits that pose as people, can pose like anybody that lived on this earth for 2,000 years. They can manifest. Oh, that's Aunt Bula, and that demon can appear that like you look like your dead aunt, but it's not your aunt. And then all of a sudden the spirit just transforms itself, and it's forced to smile. Then it just turn. You're gonna do as I say. It can keep you up, and if you don't, they can take your mind. That's what spirits do. See, black people don't understand this in America. Now, over in the continent of Africa, they know that stuff. Over in the Caribbean islands, they know that stuff. They know, and anybody they know I'm not lying. They know I'm not lying with that stuff. You better watch who you pray. There was a story about a young lady one time that dealt with some Haitian thing. She was a white girl. She cut out some kind of ancient witch doctor. This thing manifest, and people they told her that was part of Haitian culture. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Mysteriously, she died in the bathtub. I'm telling you, don't mess with something that you don't mess with the spirit world. Don't be curiosity. I'm telling you, don't mess with the spirit world. And if you do, you'll be sorry. But yeah, so this is the reason why I brought him up, because he'll say stuff like that, and you can hear like the desperation, but he's trying to be desperate, but he's trying to be so intelligent at the same time. And then it's like the manipulation coming in and saying, "See, this is wrong with you people. That's why we can't come together. That's why your kids say at the same time." But at the same time, I done lecture you and tell you that black people, we don't do nothing. That's why we can't build nothing. We don't work together. Blah blah this and blah blah that. At the same time, saying they call you trifling, lazy, and they want 1 minute that I'm asking you for money. Then when they send you the money, they say, "Well, come on, man, we gotta do it. Come on, don't you want your boy? You want the white man to teach the white man gonna teach you? Teach your kids the wrong thing and da 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 da, and they gonna put your kids in HHD, whatever. Maybe, and that may be true. But if you have this information, it's not that people don't want to help Urmar Johnson. It's just when you go, you don't know what kind of personality you're going to get. You know, and then the people is taking up for him, saying, "Yeah, man, the brother been at the work. I heard one." I said, "Yeah, that's true. I see how the school systems is and everything." And he could be spitting out some truth. But it's that other side that when he's constantly online, he'll say some outlandish and crazy. So the same people like, wow, you know, these other people say, what the heck is he talking about? Telling weak women you stop wearing fake hair and blonde hair, blue eye. Turn around, say something that, you know, if you got a white girlfriend or something like that, and white man and you're a woman, I mean, come on, man. We're Pan-Africans. No. And then he turned around and said, "You don't want no LGBTQ." He said this. He said stuff like this. And then your boys and girls gonna be with me in the dorm rooms. And I'm gonna have them. This is what he said at a meeting one time. So when he's saying that, it's like, dude, is you crazy? What grown adult gonna be that narrow-minded for you talk to them like that? Talk to them like they're nothing. And you gonna tell them what they're gonna do with their young child? Your child and if they come to my school, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have in the boys in the girl room because we're gonna be washing their dirty drawers. And he's saying this stuff on and they recording this on video. See, he didn't hear about that part. The guy Ishikar, he didn't know. They got Umar on another channel saying that people mimicking everything. He put everything on video. He put it right on social. They get right on social media and he playing everything he said. So that going to the audience. So people come to the page. They see what's going on and say, this guy is crazy. Talk about dirty drawers and women's hair and little boys and I mean some off the wall stuff. And the couple people made an excellent point. Like I said, he 1 minute he's talking good, he sound intelligent. The next minute he sound like it's like a personality flip. And so when people get mad because you're criticizing him, but it's his own words that's hurting him. It's his own actions that it goes back to what I'm saying. When you just don't say anything that comes out of your mouth. You don't just say anything just because something. Everybody don't need to know what everything's on your mind all the time. Some things, and that's something that he will have to use some common sense. But it seems like he can't use common sense because one minute it's like, yeah, he's talking about education. Next minute, because I'm a big papa and I'm going. Well, one of you ladies gonna come rub my feet tonight. I mean, it's like, and so he said this. Some of you would probably say to you, if you was talking to a woman on one-on-one, and he's talking like this, and it's all over the video. And you got somebody on the channel, and they looking at this about 12,000 people looking at this. And I keep saying his own mouth is his own instruction. And I show you the video, he was making good points. He likes the guy. He said he got some good, excellent points. But it's that flip-floppy personality that's what's hurting him. Instead of them, come on, send me the cash app. He didn't even ask you for please. Come on, send me to it. Send me to it. That's what's wrong with you people now. You're lazy. You're lazy. That's what's wrong with you black folks. Now send me the money. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, really? But anyway, I didn't intend to be this long, but I just want to show you what kind of person you're dealing with. But I'm going to make another video later on. I'm about to make another video, upload this video, I'm about to make another video. And this is dealing with an Asian woman that